New season of anime is finally here. Let's see what we got cooking now. Let's see what's in the old watch list. Tsumsho. Wait a minute. Isn't that... Oh god, it's finally here. Guys. This isn't as bad as it seems. Wait, no, seriously, it's not. Hear me out. Since the dawn of man, the anime community has loved nothing more than to see an anime and say, "The fuck is that?" without actually finding out what it's about. Yes, I'm looking at you, Jujutsu Kaisen fans. Now, every now and then, we are given an anime where you look at it and everyone does unanimously go, "What the fuck is that?" That anime this season is Tsumsho. Never in my years of watching anime have I seen just the announcement for an anime end up being so controversial. Who can blame us though? With a title like "If My Wife Becomes an Elementary Student," there's only one thing we all can assume. In all seriousness though, I went into reading this manga with the full conscience that this could be a video I'd actually have to scrap depending on the direction the story goes. But after finishing the manga, I can confidently tell y'all this is not at all what you think it is. This is not a story about a man wanting to marry his wife who is now a 10-year-old girl. Guys, I swear, it is but a story about a family who lost their mother and went on for 10 years living their lives depressed. But one day, their mom comes back, possessing the body of a random elementary school girl to help the two of them move on from her death and get their lives back on track. What is time? Time is a social construct. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Time is a valuable thing. The average human is alive on this earth for 74 years, meaning we only have at most 74 years with those we love, but even that time is not guaranteed. There are too many factors in this world to even think that tomorrow is guaranteed. From accidents to medical problems to getting gunned down in the streets for my fellow peeps in America, yeah! Each of these do not guarantee us tomorrow. Even more reason to justify being a shut-in neat, am I right, my fellow weebs? Yeah! I want you to take a second to think of those you love. Could be friends, could be family, or just any other loved one works. How would your life change if something happened to that person? Well, if you're a normal human and not a robot, I would assume you'd end up depressed like the rest of us. I mean, everything you once knew is now gone, and now you have to find a way to move on and learn an all new way of life without said person. But now, what if you never move on? This is the story of If My Wife Became an Elementary School Student. We start with a ring of the doorbell. Oh shit, my DoorDash is here. Hold on. Oh wait, never mind. It's just a little girl. Who are you? Turns out this little girl is somehow the wife of this man, Keisuke, which is hard for him to believe at first as his wife died 10 years ago in an accident. After telling him and his daughter Mai stuff only the two of them would know, they are fully convinced that this little girl is somehow their late mom/wife. But how and why is she back? According to her, she regained all of her previous life's memories the moment she walked past her old home with them. The reason she is back was to see if her husband and daughter had moved on from her death, which they haven't. This sets her on a mission to help both of them get their lives back on track and move on from her death. Tsumsho is a story about loss and how you should bounce back even though your life has been flipped upside down. I remember when I lost my grandma as a kid. It was one of the hardest deaths I've ever had to go through, and still to this day, not only mine, but my entire family's lives have not been the same. We all used to go over to my grandma's house on Sundays to eat dinner and hang out all together as a family. And when you're living in those times, they soon quickly become something that you take for granted. And the moment it's gone, you'd give anything just to experience it just one more time. This is the struggle that Keisuke has to learn to get past. As we dive deeper into the story, he learns that his wife has not been reincarnated, but is actually possessing the body of an innocent 10-year-old girl. He discovers this as after the original girl's conscience returns to her body out of nowhere. After speaking to a monk who confirms this theory, Keisuke once again falls into that familiar old despair he was in before his wife's return. Days go by with no hope of his wife returning to possess the body of the 10-year-old girl. That is, until she does possess the body once again, confirming the theory that she is only possessing the body of the girl and not actually returned for good. Finally coming to terms with this, Keisuke and Take both come to the agreement that it is selfish for Take to continue taking the poor girl's life away from her and her mother. So Keisuke finally decides he is going to start working on taking care of himself and move on from the death of his wife and distance himself away from her to prove to her that he has moved on and she can move on to the afterlife in peace. Finally, Tsumsho is a story with many different messages. Dying with regrets, loss, depression, self-growth, and moving on. Each of these are what makes this story one of the most beautiful stories I have ever read, and further proof of why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, even though it's really hard not to in this situation. Tsumsho shows how important it is to move on when faced with loss and what the consequences of not doing so can have on the soul of the one who was lost. Tsumsho is a story I can safely recommend. Despite there being moments in the story that made me physically cringe, as you read further, you kind of come to understand Keisuke's side of things, and you find the things he says less weird, as it's not about him wanting to be with the 10-year-old girl, but him wanting his old life back with the one he loved more than anything. I have never personally experienced this level of love, so I cannot say I am one to judge, but knowing myself, I can't say whether or not I would feel the same way as him in his situation. From a different perspective though, I can say from my standpoint, if I had lost my mother and she one day returned to me, I really wouldn't care what shape or form she returned in. I would only care about the fact that I have my mom back. And I think that is a perspective we all can agree on. As I read through the story, I found it very odd how all the characters were quicker to have this mindset than I was. The entire time, I was stuck on the fact that in the broad side of things, this 10-year-old girl was hanging out with two random adults, which is definitely very sketchy. I learned something from reading this though. This story had a final secret message that I believe I want to share with y'all. Whether the writer meant for it to be one or not, the secret message that I got from the creator to us readers is not to judge someone's situation without knowing the full story. That, and someone may want to check the creator's hard drives, because this is one crazy concept to come up with. What's going on, my beautiful weebs? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, let me know by leaving a like down there, and if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. I upload these video essays, I'd like to think, a little bit more consistently. So if you did enjoy this one and you want to see more of my content in the future, like I said, hit that subscribe button. And to all the new people that have been subscribing from the previous video, I want to take a quick second to thank all of you guys. It really means a lot to have all of your guys' support. Lastly, I have a Discord server. I am going to start promoting this a little bit better, so if you guys want to join that, I'll have a link in the description to it. Come chat with me, come say what's up. I want to get a little community started over there. I think that would be pretty cool. But other than that, again, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.